Greetings. Thank you for watching this video. This video is a post that I am doing for a hermeneutics class that I am taking. This particular post is about facts versus interpretation and how that relates to hermeneutics. So let's begin. Hermeneutics is a Greek word, it comes from a Greek word that means interpretation. The author John Caputo said that hermeneutics means that everything is interpreted, and how true that is. Everything around us in our world, everything we see, read, hear, is constantly interpreted, and it's interpreted differently by each person and even creatures. Let me give you some examples. Let's say that a preacher at a church preaches a sermon, and after the sermon or after the service, you ask 10 different people in that church, what did you get out of that sermon? What was the sermon about? What was the message? You may hear some overlap in some of the things they say, but those 10 people will tell you the answer differently based on what they heard and how they interpreted it. Here's another example. Let's say that there is a bear in a forest, and my daughter Bree sees that bear in the forest. Well, my daughter's grandmother passed away and told her that she would come back as a bear and see her. So every time my daughter sees a bear, she thinks of her grandmother. If she saw a bear in the forest, which we actually happened to do not too long ago, first thing she thought was of her grandma. Let's say another bear sees that bear. They might see that bear as a possible mate. They may see that bear as a competitor for food. They may see that bear as a competitor in their area that they dominate. Say a hiker is walking in the woods and they come across that bear. They may see that bear as a threat. Say a wildlife photographer sees that bear. What would they see it as? They may see it as a possibility for money. They may see it as beautiful. They may see it as a chance to capture a photograph. Let's say a deer sees that bear. They're going to definitely see that bear a lot differently than a lot of the people that I just talked about. Obviously, they're going to see it as a threat. Here's another example. Let's say you have a dining room table. Say you have someone that lives in a remote village somewhere and they've never seen furniture, and they see a dining room table. What are they going to think of it as? They're not automatically going to think of it as a place to sit. They're going to see it, they're going to see something made out of wood and or glass or metal. Let's say a furniture salesman sees a dining room table. How are they going to see it? They may look at it and see, oh, how much is that worth? What's the quality of that? What is the workmanship of it like? Let another person who works from home may sit at the dining room table and work there, so they may see that as their work desk. Another person may look at it and see it as a place to have family dinners. Maybe someone would see a dining room table and, like my daughter, automatically think of their grandma because they used to have dinners when their grandma would come visit for the holidays. Let's say another person had parents that would lecture them at the dining room table every evening about their grades or their schoolwork or their behavior. Somebody may see a dining room table and have an adverse reaction because that's how they interpret that dining room table. All of those interpretations that I talked about the sermon, about the bear, about the dining room table, are all fact to that person or animal. That is how they interpret it, and it is a fact to them. So what are facts? We learn about facts versus opinions in school, right? You may remember taking language arts or English and hearing something like, Pizza Hut tastes great. Their food is great. Is that a fact or an opinion? Well, they would say that's an opinion because one person may say that, the next may not. But then they may say something like, a fact is that, and I can't remember which president Biden was, the 43rd, I think, 42nd, 43rd. Joe Biden was the 43rd president of the United States, or is the 43rd president of the United States. That's a fact. Well, ask a Trump supporter who in 2020 feels like the election was stolen, they would not see it as fact. So it's not as black and white as a lot of people would like to think. Since we all interpret differently and we're all correct in the way we interpret it because that's how we see it, what is ultimate fact? What is ultimate truth about something? Does it even exist? Philosophers disagree. In a text that I read for this class, Heidegger said that yes, truth exists, and we try to understand and learn that truth. Nietzsche said truth does not exist. Socrates was always trying to get at truth and was showing experts in fields of things that they didn't really have an understanding of truth, and they killed him for it. Conservative religion and claims to have truth, and they claim to insist that they are right about certain things, about God and things like that. When you hear that, pay attention and don't be fooled. Here is how conservative religion brainwashes people. First, they claim to know reality. They have understanding of what reality is. Second, they say they have the method of attaining the truth and that their method is correct. They state that they have what is the true guide to conduct, and then they use political principles to influence people. We've seen that through the history of the churches through time. Christian churches, Muslim churches, all kinds of churches, even today. So when you see those things, claiming to know reality, claiming to know the truth, claiming to know what true, valid, good conduct is or is not, and they're using political principles to influence people, beware. Also, when you see this, take note that different religions and denominations, in the Christian church at least, can't agree with each other on what reality is, what truth is, what correct conduct is, even though they purport to have ultimate knowledge and understanding of those things. So, in summary, what are facts? What is interpretation? Facts exist for some people, but is there an ultimate truth? Is there, or is it just basically interpretation? It seems to me there's three choices. Either, especially when it comes to religion, let me back up there. When it comes to religion, either truth exists and you have it, truth exists and more than one religion has it, or truth simply does not exist and no one has it. So maybe I've left you with more questions than answers on this, but my goal was not to give you answers, but to just discuss what facts versus interpretation mean and how they relate to hermeneutics and to make you think a little bit. In the church, especially Christian churches, hermeneutics means something different. It means how do you interpret the Bible and how do you correctly interpret the Bible. But the true meaning of hermeneutics is just simply to interpret, and also to understand that we are constantly interpreting. Everyone is constantly interpreting everything all the time. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, I would love to see them. You're welcome to post them, and I will respectfully reply. Have a good day.